So do you want me to just say I wanted to add something?
Sure.
Okay. Do you want me to shut that door?
Yeah.
Oh. Hey, Alice.
Hey, neighbor.
Hey, sweetheart. Hey, I'm doing an interview real quick. Thank you. Hang on, let me turn my light quick.
You're getting interviewed again.
Yeah.
Well, aren't you special? Okay.
You know, the funny thing about the introductions was, man, I really didn't know what to say. It's like, wow, I'm Donnie Dye. Jeez, where do you go from there? You know, you know, I could say, oh, well, I'm the owner of, 4 Hour Auto, but it's not. I love doing it, and I'm very passionate about it, and you know, all those things. But the truth is I mean, a year from now, I could be doing something totally different. You know, so it feels weird. I don't know, boxing myself in. And I know that sounds really, you know, like I see in other interviews where people, they'll say, hi, you know, my name is whatever. I'm da-da-da-da. And I just think, man, I don't want to be that person. I know that sounds really funny.
Donnie is he's an obsessed psycho like me. We both burn gasoline in our veins.
He's a father, he's a husband, he's a good friend, he is a vehicle enthusiast, motorcycle and car, and he loves doing his drive-by parties with his fire truck and army truck.
Donnie Dye, workaholic, family guy, who really likes to buy some crazy cars on the side.
Wow, I'm Donnie Dye.
My personality is a person of excess, and I obsess about things, and I'm super curious. So it comes out in a really funny way. And one of the funny ways that it comes out is in government vehicles. I provide vehicles for movies and stuff. When they did Fear the Walking Dead, HBO came in. They asked if I had a fire truck. I was like, I do.
Where the hell did you get that from?
Not this fire truck, but a different one. So they rented that, so that was pretty cool. But that doesn't happen that often, so you gotta fill in the blanks. Or it gives me something to focus on, and it gives me something to do something in a positive way as opposed to something negative, you know? Like I would have a long time ago, you know? My dad was a mechanic, and at a really young age, it was pretty clear. I grew up very poor in East Austin, and back then it was a lot different than it is now. It was a lot different times. You know, I grew up in the 70s. It was really tough times. So growing up, a lot of people were like, hey, you're gonna go to college when you get older. You're going to do this, you're gonna do that. That wasn't in my cards. My parents never said that. My parents never pushed that. They're like, when you get older and you get old enough, you're gonna get a job and you're gonna work. So I was like, okay. I'd worked since I was a teenager. I moved out when I was 14. And I really didn't have my teenage years. I really didn't have my 20s. So around 30 years old, I don't know, something happened.
I had no reference on drugs at all. I mean, I'm talking, I never seen anything, right? I seen some movies, whatever. I got a girlfriend that asked me to get her some drugs, and I said, yeah, well, I know what's up, right? I've seen the movies, right? Anyway, so huge mistake, and I end up, fast forward a year after that, unfortunately, you know, I was working with cartel. I'm doing money runs. I'm delivering. It's out of control. I mean, out of control. You know, I was addicted myself. You know, I sold pretty much everything. I didn't deal in heroin. I knew that was a horrible thing. Not that all the other things are great. Luckily, the guy I was working through, the middle guy or whatever, through the cartel, he got busted. When he got busted, he worked with the DEA, and he brought the SWAT team with him one night. He was dropping off a large sum of drugs, and probably 2 minutes later, the SWAT team came in. I was wearing a zebra Stetson with shorts, a furry cut-off vest with no shirt on, of course, and furry little flip-flops. So this is what I had on when I got arrested. The SWAT team thought it was pretty funny. Yeah. Well, and it was just another day. It wasn't like, I didn't even know what day it was. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know.
Well, we've known each other for quite a while now. My name is Juke. I own this auto repair shop, Juke Automotive. Originally, we knew each other as we used to get messed up together. We led the wilder life together, and I'd call him more of a drug buddy than somebody that I was intimate with. At one point in time, Donnie wound up getting arrested. He wound up in prison.
I was laying there on the ground, face down, and I was like, thank God, it's over. It's over. Because I was tired of the constant chaos.
I paid a big price for it. You know, my family paid a big price for it. Made a lot of poor decisions. I did 5 years federal time from that.
I heard through the grapevine that Donnie was in prison, and a lot of his old druggie acquaintances obviously kept following their self-seeking paths, and that Donnie was struggling for friendship. And I saw it as my responsibility on my new path to try to be there for people. So I started visiting Donnie in prison.
He would come and visit me, and he was also we did a lot of partying together at the time. You know, while I was away, he got sober too.
Thankfully, during that point in time, my life took a pivot as well into a positive direction where I no longer led that sort of a lifestyle. And then finally, Donnie got released.
He was really excited about, hey, when you get out, we're gonna do this. He has this big plan, this big idea. I'm like, great, sign me up. I'm down. Let's whatever it is you got going on, let's do it.
So when he got out, we immediately started working together. He was in a halfway house where he was not allowed to leave unless under certain requirements, and going to work was one of those requirements. I had the paperwork ready and waiting, and we started working together.
I told myself I was going to work with him for 2 years because I felt, well, 2 years, you know, I'll move on, I'll do my own thing, whatever. 8 years later, 8 years later, I finally did go on and do my own thing. But within that 8 years, then within 5 years, gosh, we went from 5 employees to 30 employees. I mean, just killed it. Did a great job, did great service, did, you know, all the traits, you know, with a people pleaser, obsess on things, you know, all these traits that would really didn't serve me well in a bad environment. In a good environment, man, it went really well, and we did great.
I wanted somebody that I thought also shared my views of how to treat customers, which means with honesty and integrity, and somebody that was genuinely positive. And strangely, the closest friend that I had that would fit that ticket was my friend that I developed a friendship with in prison.
A lot of it stems from my sobriety, which is this year's 14 years. I tend to be a person that obsess on things, and I'm a person of excess and all these other things. And in a bad environment, negative environment, it can go down in flames like really quick. So I try to focus on doing good things and focusing on good things, because you can't really do too many of those. Really, my inspiration, I would say, is really my best friend. You know, he's the guy. If he set aside religion and heaven and all these other things, I felt like he was a person that he kept doing all these good things. Like man, is this guy trying to get into heaven or something? You know, like what is he doing? You know, like, but it was a part inspiration on that too, because I was like, man, you know, I can be myself. I can obsess on things, and I can focus on things, and I can and do it all in a good, positive way.
We said, all right, hey, once a week, let's make sure that we set aside an hour to an hour and a half where we sit down with each other, and we have an hourglass of a cigar that says this is the amount of time that we have, because we're both very busy people. And that's what we do now. In fact, Donnie's going to be coming over here in about another half hour, and I've got a cigar each for us. I've got the one that he likes, and I've got the one that I like, and we're gonna sit down and take a bit of time with each other. From meth to cigars.
I jokingly say I had more fun than the law allows, but the truth is, it was a bunch of bad decisions. Being surrounded with people that absolutely didn't have my best intentions in mind at all, you know, but that's okay. You know, it worked out really for the best. I mean, by far.
So if I were to introduce Donnie to someone, of course, I would say he's my husband. But to tell them about him, I would say, one, he's a car guy. Donnie spends most of his time out here, so if I need him, he's typically here. If he's not here, he's usually at the junkyard or a shop or something along those lines.
People send me things, and I keep them. They'll keep a little angel to watch over me. So I'm too sentimental to get rid of it. So I just hang it up, you know.
When I first met him, it was because he was working at a shop and my car had broken down. And it was one of those things where you see that person and you have really strong feelings about them right away. So I thought he was pretty phenomenal, but I was way too shy to talk to him, really. And so about 3 weeks later, my car broke down again, and I was excited. I went back to the shop, and I knew that I couldn't afford to have any more car repairs, so I better ask him out.
I had just got out of prison. I was still at the halfway house. Juke introduced us, so I got to meet her like in a friend situation or whatever. So I gave her a hug, and I was like, whoa, that was pretty awesome, you know? When you first get out, the government watches you really closely, because obviously last time you were free, you were a crazy person.
Well, they're coming for you.
You have to be reached by a landline at all times. But I had that hour and a half opportunity between riding the bus from work to home. So she would come pick me up, and then she'd bring a picnic, and then we'd go down by Town Lake, and we'd have a blanket and just look at the water and just like hang out and talk. That was pretty awesome. So that's how we started dating. Of course, other people were like, okay, let me get this straight. This guy just got out of prison, and you're dating him, and yeah, you know. But luckily, she stuck with me. Luckily.
So, needless to say, there were some red flags.
My wife is wonderful. She is fantastic. She, I don't even know where to start. If I say, hey honey, you know, I think I'm gonna buy 2 fire trucks. Her response was, that's awesome. That'll be really fun. I can't wait to go ride in them. Like, she's completely supportive in whatever way it goes.
Supporting him and being able to be who he is. I mean, that's what a partnership is, right?
The fire trucks are just the tip of the iceberg as far as that goes. I could say, it'd be really cool to build a 10-story rocket out at my parents' out of like pipe, and like we could like do it. You know, we got this fire truck, so I could like support and do that. She's like, yeah, that'd be really cool. You know, just like, I'm just struggle to be myself. You know, I can just, hey, I got this idea. Okay, great. How can I help you do it? That's what's up. That's you can just go in leaps and bounds when you have somebody like that on your side. You know, there's no struggle. There's no. You can just really enjoy it, enjoy life, and enjoy dreaming, and having knowing somebody that you got somebody on your side, no matter what that is.
What is that? 12 liters, 13 liters? Yeah. What? Oh yeah. First night that me and him, he picked me up. I was about 15 or 16 years old. Went out and blew up a motor within an hour and a half on our first hangout. so that kind of sealed the fate. Me and him go to Bonneville. Really interested in land speed racing, the Indian motorcycle and the Mustang and all that stuff. So that started me in becoming a mechanic. right off the rip, I was not very good. You know, I would wrench on my car so that I could go race it over the weekend. Over time, I got a little bit better, and it eventually got me to get my aircraft mechanics license. And I kind of, in some way, owe all that to Donnie. And it's really crazy because the reasons that I love Donnie have really nothing to do with why he's popular and everyone loves him today. He's actually become a really great person, a really good example of how to be. Years ago when I met him, he was a little bit younger, maybe a little bit more reckless. Those were the reasons originally that I was his friend. But the person that he's become today and how he's taken everything, you know, I witnessed him through his downward spiral. So I met him before all of that stuff, before jail and all that. And I was a young kid, and it was really unfortunate to lose a friend and then have him go to prison like that. But he stayed in contact with me, you know, and I got married, got my license and all that stuff. So I was doing really well. And when he got out, he just, man, he picked up the pieces and he ran with it. And I'm just really proud of him. He's a great example of how to be as a person. And I think that in the end, the funny thing is that, you know, I've got the love affair with the automobile, the machinery, and he does too. But I think in the long run that what he kind of shows is it's really what the people is really the big thing, is really the big difference.
Now it's kind of like the opportunity and the chance to say, hey, you know what, that if you really are genuinely sorry for your actions and what you did and who you were, you change who you are, you change your actions, and you change what you do, you show it by your actions. Now it's pretty cool because now I have a chance to sit back and say, hey, you know, what differences can I make? What positive things can I do? How can I, my first reaction, say in the traffic, would be to be like, somebody cut you off or something, you know, but to step back for a second and say, hey, you know what? It's okay. You know, hey, you know what? Man, go ahead, you know? And it feels great to be that person, you know? It's great to be that now, you know, and have that chance. There's another quote, or I don't know exactly, but it says that it's in the hard times that one's true character shines through. It's a hard time for a lot of people. So it's really an opportunity to show your best side, to be the best person that you can be strong. If you've got it to give and you've got an abundance of, life is pretty easy for me. I'm pretty spoiled. I mean, who drives around in a fire truck? All right. All right. You ready to go? Are you ready, Alice? All right. We're doing drive-by birthday parties. A drive-by birthday party is where people get together and we parade by people's houses and wave and just do something fun, since, you know, kids can't have their friends over for the birthday parties. You have to keep believing. You have to believe that things are going to be okay, and that the universe listens, and that something magical is going to happen. Something just around the corner, just behind the next door. It's kind of funny how those things can kind of manifest through believing and working towards it and just having faith. I mean, I know that's maybe oversimple, but also be willing to work for it. Okay, so this is the approach that we did last time, which I really like. It's great. I love it. I love it because I can really feel it. You know, I can feel their excitement, you know? It's really cool. Especially, oh my gosh. She was really surprised and really like, just blown away. That was great. Her reaction was, yeah, it was awesome. Seeing something for the first time, or that wonderment and that excitement, you know, so I can still really feel that, especially like, you know, like this morning. It's pretty awesome. That was awesome.
Do you want to wave and say hi? Hi! Can you yell it's my birthday? It's my birthday!
It's actually funny because Alice, our little one, she does speech therapy, and her speech therapist is in the neighborhood, and she's seen some of the ads that he's put out there saying he's available, and she was so tickled. She's like, "That's your dad. That's the guy." And I think everybody around here has been really open and welcoming and excited about it. We're lucky we live on the east side of Austin, so we don't have to worry about lots of problems with where to park a car or where to park a fire truck. And most of the neighbors around here have also been, they think it's fun, and he'll offer them rides when we can. I think overall a very warm welcome, but some people have thought it's a little extreme at times. He used to bring the fire truck to our daughter's school when they'd have like a vehicle day, and then all the little kids would run on it, and they loved it. And so I'm pretty sure that also helped inspire him to offer it to little kids, just seeing that excitement. And Alice is hilarious because she sees it. It's just a normal car to her. It's about the same as driving my RAV4.
The other kids get excited, then she gets excited, But until she sees that, she forgets. She's just like, oh, okay, we're gonna go in the fire truck. Just like, it's just Dad's car.
That's her life. She doesn't know how weird it is.
I'll be 50 fairly soon, a couple of years, whatever. But I only have, and it's not guaranteed, 10, 15 years. So it's like, man, I really need to concentrate on the things I want to do in my life and things that are important to me, because this is the time to do it. I don't want to look back and say, hey, I wish I would have done this, or I wish I would have done that. And my dad is, gosh, he's probably 85, 87, and now he's like, he's like, son, if you ever want to do the things in your life that you want to do, you better do them now. And I think about that every day. And he just flat out said, it's too late for me, but it's not for you. I'm just like, oh my gosh, no pressure there, right? So now I'm working towards focusing on the things that I want to work on.
He searches for what makes him feel full inside by helping other people. Vehicle and truck and fire truck and army truck drive-by that he does, where when kids are having a birthday party and they're not able to have their friends come in these interesting times that we're at, he drives by in his fire truck and makes them happy, makes them feel special and part of the parade. And he says that doing that lights him up.
If he has the invite, I always love to go, because it's really nice to see people kind of such trying times, to see the joy in people and see the good happiness and all that. I definitely think the fire truck is super cool.
A lot of these drive-bys are a block away, so it's very simple and very convenient for him to do. Some of these drive-bys are like an hour away. And people go, oh, here you go, here's $40 for gas. That fire truck chews up way more than $40 in gas getting to wherever he's going and back again. But he's not doing it for the money. He's not doing it for fame. He's doing it because he loves that he's able to take this section of time that we're in and do something beautiful with it. Instead of it just being a negative thing, he's focusing on what he can do positively.
So in the last 5 years especially, I've been very, I guess I forgave myself for a lot of things and said, hey, I guess I have value enough to do the things that I want to do in my life. So I think forgiveness of oneself, you then are willing to give yourself the things that you can do. So once you do that, then it's like you can say, what do I want to do? And what are my possibilities? And then you start to realize that your dreams and the things you want to do can be pretty small compared to what you can do. And that's a really crazy thing to realize.